Genie grind, I wish I'm getting rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie went and made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fuck you gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up a hit but feel like one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100.
Hello world, I am What If Study, and today we are doing What If Naofumi was summoned by the Elves. I don't know how many parts I'm going to do left with this one because, you know, not many people watching these anymore. Maybe about 20 of you watched the last one. And that's quite, to be honest, depressing. So we're just going to continue on. Naofumi and Lily come trotting down the mountain, off through the woods, where the lowest level monsters can be found. Tiny balls that swarm around Naofumi. After all, he just discovered his, taunt. Simple skills start to all come to him as his, perspective on his screen. It's going wild. He can't tell even his level by this point. Nor does he trust to tell anyone either way. His whole existence seems to be a mystery to the system. Question mark after question mark appear onto his main menu. He's unable to see any of his stats. However, he can tell that he has gained several skills, and including one that reflects damage. Whenever you get hit by damage, you can simply reflect it, called Boar's Rage. And then, other than that, he's talking with Lily. Talking about, all the things that they have done together. Reminiscing in the forest. All these stupid balls keep on coming up to him, however. At some point, he just lets them all grapple onto him. She finds this kind of hilarious. You mock me? She says, No, just a funny situation, that's all. I still consider it mocking. She's like, you're right, I am mocking you. He's like, it's punishable to mock the king. And she's like, not the king yet. He's like, don't remind me. He looks forward seeing the kingdom off. They're almost there. Within an hour they'll be at the gates. And while they spend their time walking in the forests, Naofumi and her talk for what feels like days. You really hate the humans, don't you? Yes, why? I can never imagine hating the other elves as much as you hate your own kind. Why do you hate them so much? They've done nothing to you. If anything, I should hate them the worst. And trust me, I want to smite them as hard as I can. But you seem to hate them with such an underlying, defined hatred that I can never possibly fathom. Understand one thing, Lily. As the wind dies down, it gets really cool. The torture that I went through, I never explained it to you. Have you ever been stung? By a bee, I mean. Of course, I've actually been stung by a wasp, which hurts much more. Okay, take that, right? Now rip off your left arm, then your right, as a simple test. And then sting your stomach, ripping it apart. Then sting your chest. They injected needles into every single part of my body, injecting me with health regeneration, blood for what was almost a month. It is the greatest power that they have given me, other than my iron lungs. They tore my body apart in testing it. And you know what I was doing while all that was happening? I was awake, watching it happen. Over and over again, every single day. Meanwhile, you know who stood there and watched me do it. Watched him operate. Watched him do such horrible things. The humans. The humans of that village, they just watched. They just wouldn't do anything. And I know the Empire knows that I'm alive. I know they know it. They know I'm coming for them. They knew I was alive, Lily. They watched as I was tortured. Why don't you blame your torturer then? He was a man of science, for all he looks like. Funnily enough, I feel that his reasons for torturing me were not because of a lack of medicine. It was for a lack of understanding of the human living. He was a lich, you have to understand. He has never felt pain in over 300 years. I guess that is true. Although he could more than tell my pain. He just didn't understand it. He was a man of curiosity. Honestly, I respect him in some weird way. However, what he did, that doesn't make anything that he did any less cruel. After he had killed your father, I swore I would never forgive him, even after he has helped me through many battles. No matter how many enemies he kills of mine, I will not repent his own sins. As they arrive at the gate, Naofumi exclaims that was quite fast compared to what he thought. The guard looks down upon them as all three of his guardsmen also wander next to him. It's rare that they see an elf around here. They've only seen elves in the dwarven kingdom. But we'll let you pass since you seem rich. As they eye up his coin bag, Naofumi draws it closer into his place. However, the left side of his person was covered by the cloak. He hides it within where his arm should be. He continues on into the city, using the disguise that he had always used to this point along his journey. The elven armor cloaking all the rest of him. It was so clunky. Oh, that's because of all the attacks that it's endured, and how it's been crushed around your body. That is true. But while they walk, they feel these eyes staring at them. These men, the human men, keep on staring at Lily. Her elven cloak that draped her fine robes were slightly revealing on the back area. Naofumi clenched his fist, drawing blood from himself. However, he had no idea that he was, for his pain receptors were all but dulled over time. He continues looking forward as he reaches his arm around Lily, drawing her closer to him and closer, cloaking the rest of her body to keep her warm, as he says. She says, "Sure, to keep me warm." You hate them, don't you? Of course. You? Don't? She says, "Oh no, trust me. I think that their eyes should be spooned out and fed back to them as a fine roasted meal. But I feel your rage burning ever brighter than mine. Could ever." Naofumi looks around to each of the houses. Unimpressive. Each of the stone barracks, the blacksmith, who didn't seem like a bad guy, a tavern, and the town hall, and then the gigantic castle that sat in the middle of it, lording over all of the other houses at the back of it. It was an easy attack. Simply, as he plotted out the devices in his head for the tools that he would use to destroy them. Lily looked around the marketplace, finding herself in a bazaar. A wonderful bazaar. Their food is just delectable here, as she keeps on eating. the library they finally found at the end of their little walk. Naofumi, however, says, "We have seen all we need to. I shall submit my response and my declaration of war now." As you know, he walks past the library part as he bumps straight into a wandering scholar. As books fly up into the air and a cat hisses and as its fur furls up. And it stares at Naofumi as it keeps on hissing no matter how long it is. However, the four-eyed man looks down and sees Naofumi. His eyes elate. His immediate reaction is to start gasping for air, almost like he's having a heart attack. He starts prancing around in joy. "You were here! You were actually here, Naofumi! Oh my god! Holy shit, Naofumi! You were in this city this whole time! Oh my god, you have no idea how long I've been waiting to see you, mister!" As he grabs Naofumi's hand, sort of shaking it as hard as he can. Naofumi is quite confused, as Lillian is also quite confused and draws her bow very slightly under her cloak. However, the madman seems to continue on saying, "Oh my god, this changes the whole timeline. This means that you've been here this whole time. In the second dimension, imagine that. Oh, what a fool I am. I am so sorry, Mr. Naofumi. This is all my fault." However, the cat keeps on hissing. "Could you quiet up your cat first and then calm down?" Of course. As he bends down, petting the cat, saying, "This is our time. Stop ruining this, Theodore." As he gets back up, he says, "Sorry about that. It senses spiritual. It works with spiritual, people. You know how cats work, right?" "No, I do not." "That's right. It's your first time being in the human kingdom." "Ah, too bad elves do not have cats. I'm sure they would love them. Especially with them being able to, slash straight through spiritual entities." "Get to the point. What do you want?" As the guy's like, Of course. Please, let me treat you to... This is going to be quite the long talk. Shall we have a drink at the bar? At the diner, basically. I don't see why I should. He says, "I'll pay for everything." Naofumi's like, "Enough of this crazy talk. I don't need to talk to you for anything. Come on, Lily, we're going." But then a grumble is heard from Lily's stomach. He looks back like, "Really?" She says, "Sorry, we haven't eaten in days." "You're an elf. Aren't you supposed to be the perfect being?" "Elves still eat quite a lot, even more than humans." "You're vegans." Spiritual vegans." "How does that..." "Oh, fine, show us to the bar." As they both wander into the bar, they open up as his massive pressure seems to be collapsed into the two, shields that he holds to his left and right. He hides them inside of his cloak, his massive, the massive church crosses. He sits down at the bar with the men looking extraordinarily happy and, insane, basically. "Okay, what do you want then?" As Lily already orders some bratwurst for herself, as people here are kind of rude to them. After all, they have never seen or heard of an elf. The man starts to explain. Right. I have to explain everything." He throws his hand through his blue hair, quite short in its stature, however furled back after it had been ecstatic before. The cat, still uneasy around Naofumi, now wanders over to Lily. As it wraps its tail around her hand, it tests out the waters by pawing at her hand, as Lily starts to play with the cat. Naofumi says, "Make this worth my time or I leave within 2 minutes." As he's like, Of course. How do I explain this? Let's start from there there are multiple universes. Let's say that. Different timelines in these universes, right? Ours is the first universe. And you are in the second timeline of an original timeline. What are you talking about? We're in different timelines? Yes, this is surprisingly not the first timeline. The third timeline is the one that I am from. And who even are you? I'm Xir. I'm a scholar. 8th level. As he's like, 8th level? Naofumi clenches his fist as he tries to get up. However, he's like, I wouldn't do that. Your resistances were keeping you from being paralyzed this whole time. And also slept. The paralyzation should help. However, the sleep has already gotten everybody inside this tavern, and that should say for the whole city. As Naofumi looks around, seeing everybody, he says, Damn it. No wonder he's a scholar. I gave him 3 minutes, that's enough for him to basically do anything that he wants to. My knowledge of this world is massive. Living for 150 years will give you that. I've figured out time travel with this. As he holds open his hand, a scroll appears. As Naofumi sits back down, with a confused and enraged face, he says, What does any of this have to do with me? I'm getting to that. Since you're so impatient, I'll tell you. You know how you have been traveling to a distant future, one where flames are ablaze and death holes clouding up the sky with ash. Yes, what about it? Well, you see, that's the timeline I am from. Those timelines have been activated whenever you were in a deep meditative state, one between death and life. And also when you have threatened the life of a being from that original timeline. And that sort of, the technicality of that is that whenever you harm somebody from their own reality, basically you can open up a portal. It's quite optional for the person that is being harmed. It's very weird how this world works. I can tell. So, what's the point? What's the point? Wouldn't that explain everything that you've gone through? Yes, but I don't care about what I've gone through. All I care is what I'm going to do. And that is murder everyone inside of this city. As he's like, please, sustain from that. Why? Don't you wonder why that future is so bleak? Are you so blind to see your own rage not destroyed the land of the future? You have enslaved over 3 races in this world. You have enslaved millions in the future. What are you talking about? The human race was your first endeavor. You see, the version of you that was in my reality, he went tyrannical after he had destroyed the human kingdom. And so he conquered all the lands. However, in his endeavors, he felt like he had made mistakes. So he had captured even the strongest mages over the land and made them do his dirty work. So in turn, you are part of his dirty work. Yes, I am. I was not very loyal. So the first chance that I got to get out of there with my teleportation magic, I did. Not before one of my teleportation scrolls was found out. However, my cat stayed behind to defend it. But one such being that was watching over me, my overlord, he had gone back to this timeline to take it over, running it through the Badlands. The man that I believe that you have just killed, the Demon Boar, correct? How do you know that? I just do, mister. Many things cannot be explained, but erasing someone of such power is no small feat. He was almost as powerful as our Lord. You, in the future. I own you. You own everybody. You dump them in those pits to feed your own power. You call them time investments. It's horrible things that happen. You made chimeras to make them even more powerful. Why would I do such a thing? I have no clue, to be honest with you. But that's why I have gone back in time to try to fix things. First, I tried eliminating you. Well, that didn't go so well. Why? Well, without you to eliminate this world's, horrible governing system that has corrupted this land, it would become the slave empire of the whole place. It's erupted with corruption, and once the heroes get wind of this, they kill all of the authority figures, corrupting the whole, destroying the whole world into chaos, throwing each nation at each other. It's worse, to be honest, than the original. At least there is some order in a tyranny. And the others, they didn't go so much better. But now, all I need, now that I've found you, finally, I am able to stop all this. If you just don't kill the people here, I can work it out with them, okay? We can stealthily kill them, take over this empire through the shadows. I don't work like that. You have to, Naofumi. Don't you understand what is in your hands? Can't you get rid of some petty revenge? It is not petty revenge! What they have done is horrible. Yes, I understand that. I understand your rage better than anyone, Naofumi. But this needs to be let go. Your pain does not have to cause more. These people, they're innocent. They are not innocent. How do you know? What if they're just like me or you? They're not like me or you. How do you know? They're not strong enough. So what? You're just gonna kill everybody that's weak? No. I will kill those that die to my powers. What are you talking about? Those that have the wills to survive shall survive. That is the law of the jungle, is it not? That's stupid. Just because they don't have the will to survive doesn't mean that they have to die. No, it just means that they wouldn't survive what I have. And then they will truly understand what I have gone through. You're going to torture the whole population. No. I will throw them into a war that they cannot win. Show them the errors of their ways. I will destroy their empire. Tear down their political system. Make sure that there is no recovering for any of them. And then take it over. With the Elven, I shall rule over them. I have no reason to stop, and our conversation is done here. I shall be submitting my representation of war in a few minutes now. As he gets up and picks up Lily, she starts to get knocked out of the, out of the dream, out of the sleep. She gets up and follows Naofumi very tiredly, rubbing her eyes, saying, Kitty was very soft. What are we doing, Naofumi? As he's like, we're going. And she's like, no, Kitty. No, okay, fine. As she drags her from the collar like a little cat. The scholar soon chases after him, saying, God damn it, Naofumi! Why can't you listen to me? I have to find some way to show him the humanity that still lies inside of him. There has to be something I can do. The party. Naofumi! I can show what great of an asset I will be to you. How much of a humanity will be an asset to not only you, but the Elven Kingdom. The mood was tense, and I believe that we should end it off there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you all have a great and wonderful day. See you sometime, somewhere. Goodbye.
Genie grind, I wish I'm getting rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie when I made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry how I dunk, no switch, hey, fucker gonna fuck that bitch, hey, if you ain't gon' fuck with me, you a dumb fuck, put up a hit up, I feel like one punch, look at my bank and I'm getting dumb rich, and I'm gonna count it up till 100.